So you already know what's up. Click my link in the description down below. Check out Car Marshal if you're looking for a new or used car. Remember, y'all, I get paid per click. So if you click the link in my description down below, I get some coins. So yeah, hook me up. Thanks. Check out Car Marshal.
Some viewers may find this disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hi, my loves. It's Destin Choice, and you're watching Choice TV. Now today I decided to do this video specifically because I feel like it's a really important topic, and although it's really triggering and controversial, this discussion needs to be had. And I like doing these kind of videos because it forces us to have a conversation that's uncomfortable. Now long story short, I'm pretty sure some of y'all are just like, okay, what is this shit about? Now, for me, this video was inspired by a woman by the name of Marie Calissa. Marie Calissa is a UK-based YouTuber, and she basically did a video debunking and explaining how light skin privilege definitely exists. She basically debunked and explained the struggles of being dark skinned and the privileges that light skinned people have. Because every time you bring up the word light skin privilege, many light skinned people do say, that doesn't exist, we're all black, stop trying to isolate us, there's no such thing as light skin privilege, they all see us as black. Now, I have to disagree, but then I also have to play devil's advocate. So to a certain extent, I see both point of views, and please don't expect this to be like a one-sided video. This is going to be me speaking on both perspectives, and I actually took the time and energy to do tons of fucking research. Like, I actually did 6 hours of research, which is why I haven't posted in like an entire fucking day, and I actually have been watching like 3 hours worth of documentaries on this whole situation, so I came up to a decent conclusion. And y'all know how I always say, that's another video. Well, this is another one of those videos. And I also want to bring up the hatred that many black women have towards black men, because I've seen that this is a very prevalent conversation now. Whenever a black man is seen with a white woman, everybody goes fucking berserk. Whenever a white man is dating a black woman, people go fucking berserk. Like, it's always weird. Like, black women can't date white men, and white women can't date black men. Like, it's almost insane when I think about it. But I'll explain that in a little bit. So long story short, I came across this particular video in my recommendations, and for once, YouTube did a decent job recommending shit. Oh, I forgot, this is diced sweet onions and cherry tomatoes. And for once, YouTube did a decent job recommending me some shit that I actually want to watch, because for some reason, YouTube was always recommending me Shane Dawson and Jeffree Star's shit, and I don't even fucking watch them. And YouTube, for some reason, is always recommending me politics and all that bullshit, even though I don't keep up with none of that. And the thumbnail actually caught my attention. Basically posted a video almost 2 years ago, and in this video she decided to do a social experiment where she swiped right on every single person. If you know anything about Tinder, you know that you swipe right if you're interested and you swipe left if you're not interested. She posted pictures of her normal appearance on her Tinder, and basically she swiped right on everyone to see if anybody would be interested in her. People base their swipes based off of whether or not they smash you or not, and that's just the way it is. Now, as Marie was swiping around everyone, she only got 8 to 10 messages and a few matches, and every single person that flirted with her or shot their shot, per se, made very awkward comments based off of her skin tone, because she is a dark-skinned black woman, and a lot of people had like some really interesting things to say, and this actually made me really understand the struggles that dark-skinned black women go through when it comes to dating, and I think black women in general when they're dating outside of their race. And basically, this is the video.
Let's go into the message box and see. So Jamie says, have you ever worked at a shoe department? Because I have a size 10 that needs some custom fitting. Winky face. Hint, it's 10 inches, but I'm not talking about my feet.
Oh, you nasty.
So I'm gonna say it's okay. I've definitely heard of more hilarious pickup lines. Message back, he said, I guess I was trying to be more real than funny. Goddamn girl, do you shit with that ass? So this guy says, hi there, how are you? How's your day going on? Belgium chocolate, nice pics. Now with the whole chocolate thing, this guy's obviously trying to be sweet, but he is referring to my skin color, which I always kind of found strange dating as a black woman, like why skin color is something that people feel the need to comment on at all. So I'm going to say hi, and I'm going to say why Belgian. So he replies and says, it's the most yummy and best chocolate in the world. Don't you know that? Okay, no, I didn't. Well, now you do sugarcane. What's your background? LOL, I guess I do. What's your guess? So he says, Nigerian? No, but you're on the right continent. He said Ghana. I'm just gonna tell him, like, he's not gonna guess it, so I'm gonna say Rwanda. So Ramondo replies and he said, I wouldn't guess it till next 10,000 years. Never knew there's this beauty there. So then he says, yes, I did, but I thought honestly there won't be any cute people there.
Do me a favor, please. Get out of here. Get out of here, man.
I'm not even sure like what to say to that. I don't know why you would feel like that about somewhere that you've never even visited, honestly. And also, like, I don't really know why you would say that to somebody on Tinder that you're trying to get with if you know that they're from there. So Lewis opened by saying, I love a chocolate. So I said, read my bio. He replies and he says, oh, I did, sister. Let's make an Oreo. Okay, let's just pause for a second here. Now, I know that most of these guys are probably just trying to be flirty, and some of the potentially offensive comments that they're making are coming from a place of ignorance, and they don't really mean to say anything offensive to me. But I feel some type of way about this kind of thing, because I feel like if you wouldn't try to pick me up with those lines if I was a white girl, then don't try to use those lines to pick me up just because I'm a black girl. So I said, why an Oreo? And he said, it's an expression. Are you down for drinks? So I'm going to say, do you mind explaining that to me? Oh my gosh, you guys, he actually tried to explain the whole let's make an Oreo statement to me. So he said, well, an Oreo has two components, the chocolate cookie and the white filling. When those two components are combined, you get an Oreo, smiley face. Now apply that concept onto people, and that's where I'm getting at. Haha. So I replied and I said, oh, got it. So what would two white people or two black people make? And he says, I don't know. The thing is, an Oreo only applies to interracial people. Haha, I have no clue. This has to have been the crappiest pickup line you've ever heard. I said, hi, read my bio, and then he said I did, and then I said, so what's your funniest pickup line? You read mine. And he said, why did Marie f Jake? Why? So he said, because he loves black girls. Like, you are actually stunning. Let's go ahead and give Jake the benefit of the doubt, and let's see where he goes with this. So I'm just gonna ask him why. Oh my gosh, I do not understand what's wrong with people. So this guy says to me, I don't know, just a fetish, always have, they are beautiful, but like, you are one of the prettiest ones I've seen. I don't know why he couldn't have just said you are really pretty or you're one of the prettiest girls I've seen. He said you are one of the prettiest ones I've seen. And he called his attraction to black women a fetish, not like a type, a fetish.
I'm so fucking glad she did this video, because Marie did nothing but expose the fact that it's not all in dark-skinned women's head. Like, it's not all in people's head. Like, when dark-skinned women do speak on colorism and the backlash they do go through in society, we have people saying, are you sure it's not all in your head? Oh, but she wasn't done yet. Marie took an even further approach to prove her point. Marie then used a random photo of herself and created a brand new Tinder account. She created a brand new Tinder account, and she basically decided to color in her skin and lighten in her skin using editing and airbrushing on her phone. And then she made a whole Tinder account trying to appear as a light-skinned woman to see if she get more swipes, more matches in her area, and to see if people would give her weird, awkward compliments and comments. And this is what she showed.
Pictures that have been photoshopped to make my skin tone white. Same thing as before, I'm literally just swiping. I'm gonna swipe right for every single profile. Now, as I'm swiping through this, I'm noticing that I'm matching with people a little bit more on this profile. On average, I'm matching with every second swipe, whereas before it was like every third swipe. And he said, hey, perfect 9 again. Again? I think that I'm pretty sure that I matched with him on my previous profile. Oh my gosh. Okay, but like, I don't even know. Okay, I'm gonna ask what he means. So he replied and he said, don't know, had a sense of deja vu, guess it's just me. How are you doing this fine Wednesday evening? Whew. I thought that that was a pretty smart. So another guy messaged me and he was like, I like your face. And I said, thank you, read my bio. And he said, I want a closer look, join me for drinks. So he asked me out right away. So what I'm noticing with this white profile is that a lot of the messages that I'm getting, the guys are kind of trying to get to know me more, like putting in a little bit more effort. My race isn't coming up, but I mean, it's not exactly like you can open with lines like want to make an Oreo to a white girl. So this one guy just messaged me and he said, you are so stunning. What is your background? So I kind of wanted to test and see if he thought I was white. So I replied and I said, well, what's your guess? And so he messages me back and says, I would guess Hispanic or biracial. And so I said, well, I am half Hispanic and half Irish. And he totally bought it. He was like, oh, you are so beautiful. So for the few hours that I've had this white profile, it ended up getting 10 more matches than the black profile. And I also got asked out for drinks or dinner 5 times on the white profile, whereas on the black profile, I only had 3 guys ask me out. The craziest part about this whole experiment is that I was the exact same girl, just with way lighter skin. I did not change any of my features, so I mean, you can't argue that the white version of me was physically more attractive than the black version of me. I personally thought that I looked better in my black photos, like my original photos.
Now, isn't it kind of interesting how when she was dark-skinned, many men looked at her as a zoo animal, like, oh wow, hello my chocolate, or hello, like I'm not used to dating black girls, or oh wow, like I didn't know there was cute girls in Ghana, Africa. Which is basically equivalent to saying that, wow, you're pretty for a black girl, or wow, you're a prized possession. I'm not used to dating girls that look like you. So to me, it's a little bit weird that people automatically look at color when it comes to dating black people, because it's like, oh wow, I'm not used to this, like as if it's a zoo animal. And this kind of just shows you that slave mentality still exists to this fucking day. And I like doing videos like this because it provokes a conversation that we all know damn well we need to have, because y'all know they don't teach half this bullshit in school. Like, the school system is meant for all of us to be employees. It's meant for all of us to be stupid and ignorant. Like, that's why I say school is honestly worthless. Well, at least grade school, like regular K through 12 school, is worthless. I know a lot of people like to say people are too sensitive. Well, I wouldn't say people are too sensitive. I would just say that a lot of people are desensitized and have normalized a lot of fucked up behavior that isn't okay. Now, moving right along. Anyways, after the video went on, she displayed how she was fetishized as a dark-skinned girl and looked at it as a prop. But she also pointed out how she was treated better and no one made any nasty comments. She even asked one of the guys, what do you think my background is? And one of the guys said, oh, okay, you're probably just mixed. And basically, she implied that she was a mixed black girl to one of the guys. And not one of those guys said, oh, you're my nice sweet caramel, or you're my nice sweet mellow yellow. Like, none of the guys said that shit. So they only had something awkward and weird to say when it came to a black dark-skinned woman. And one of the things that I'm really glad she pointed out in the video was the fact that she didn't change anything about herself. She said that all she did was lighten her skin using editing.
For about 20 years now.
Bro, you are the most ugliest Uber driver I ever seen in my life, bro.
That is very rude.
You're the most ugliest Uber driver I ever seen.
Can I go?
Open your eyeballs.
Maybe I should.
She didn't change her features. She didn't flatten her nose using editing. She didn't change the shape of her head. She didn't change her hair. She literally kept the exact same features but changed her skin color. And I'm glad she pointed that out. Now that's kind of what you call light skin privilege. Now for those of y'all who aren't familiar with the term lighter skin privilege, it's basically, it runs deep in all communities, not just black people, but it runs deep in places like India, where skin bleaching is very prevalent.
Knowing that it's harmful for your skin, it can cause skin cancer also.
Why is it such a huge industry then? Why does it grow so much in India?
Because we are investing in it. Like, all people are like, okay, we'll try at least once.
It is so big because every Indian girl is taught like be fair, otherwise you won't get married. They want to be beautiful, and that is why this industry is like thriving these days, because we feel that okay, we are not beautiful because we are not that. Like, here is the standard of fair, so we have to reach here somehow. Even actually when you go to a cosmetic store, if you'll ask for a foundation, so the person will show you one shade lighter.
And light skin privilege, in the most simplest form I could put it, the best way I could put it is, light skin privilege is basically facing the least amount of criticism and oppression because you are closer to being white. Even though you're a person of color, you're the closest to being white, so you face the least amount of oppression due to your skin tone. But let me elaborate a little bit more. All this nonsense about light skin privilege, light skin versus dark skin, we see it in memes, we see it in these whack-ass, corny public interviews.
The question of the day is, do you prefer light skin or dark skin?
Light skin.
Light skin, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna say light skin. Dark skin.
Wait, come here now. Come. Why? Stop. Why do y'all prefer what y'all said?
Light skins look better sometimes. Light skins be looking better.
Light skin fine as hell, bro.
Oh God.
If I can't see her ass on FaceTime, I don't want You ugly. Bruh, dark skin be thicker than light skin, period.
Long story short, if you guys didn't know, this all started during slavery, and it still haunts us to this day, sadly. But back in the day, light skins were in the house, dark skins were outside in the field picking cotton. Because lots of light skinned people were seen as more superior. They were seen as softer, more gentle to be around, and they were also fetishized by other black people and other white people. They were seen as exotic and jewels, and even still to this day, some people purposely have children with mixed people or white people or the opposite race just so they could have an ethnic looking baby.
See, I like light skinned guys, and I think it's just personally because I don't want no nappy head baby.
What?
Guys, and I think it's just personally because I don't want no nappy head baby.
What?
So that's what I like, and I like them, tall and fit, tall and fit. Final answer.
With good hair.
Definitely good hair.
Not only did light skin versus dark skin become a universal system of oppression, it then created the offspring. It then became the offspring of racism, and from there, colorism was born. And from there, other things were created to systematically oppress darker people, like limited skincare products, hair relaxers, limited amount of cosmetics and makeup, the brown paper bag test, and real quick, for those of y'all who don't know what that is, the brown paper bag test is a systematic form of colorism, and it basically means that if you were darker than a brown paper bag, you weren't allowed to attend certain things, such as fraternities, churches, sororities, or even nightclubs back in the day. Many people who lived in America participated and perpetuated it and made it widespread all throughout the world. The bag test went on from the 1900s to the 1950s, and the sad part is, the brown paper bag test is still implemented to this day. It's still being used in many ways. They just found ways to low-key do it and slip through the cracks, even though it's illegal. The modern day brown paper bag test is still around, and let me explain how. Sometimes it's blatantly in your face and you don't even realize it. For example, let me tell you why the brown paper bag test still exists to this day. Some of y'all are guilty of using this word right here. Y'all see this word? Yep. Preference. Many people use this word, the word of the day, preference, to clothe and hide their inner colorism. Using that to evaluate whether or not you'd rather date somebody amongst your own race, and even the reverse version of it, is basically promoting white supremacy. And sadly, it often happens amongst the same people in one community.
See, I like light skinned guys, and I think it's just personally because I don't want no nappy head baby.
What?
Final answer. With good hair. Definitely good hair.
To make matters worse, many women of color play a role in it because they perpetuate the fact that they prefer one man to be one skin pigment in order for them to date, which is a little bit shallow if you think about it. Because let's be honest, like we all have seen many women, or some of us are even guilty of saying, I only date light skinned man because I want my kids to have good hair, or some bullshit like, or I want to have a dark skinned man because dark skinned men are more dominant. Like many women are guilty of this. Like I see this all the time on YouTube. Like I only date dark skinned men. I only date chocolate man. I only date chocolate man. I only like dark skinned man. And every time I ask a girl, I remember one time I asked my friend this. Okay, why do you prefer darker skinned men? And she was like, I don't know, I just like somebody darker than me. And I remember watching a public interview, and this is when I was done public interviews, where basically many girls basically said that they only date dark skinned men because most light skinned men have smaller and most dark skinned men have bigger. And other girls even said that light-skinned men are too sensitive, they're annoying, and they're feminine, and so on and so forth, and that light-skinned men aren't real men, and long story short, light-skinned men can't be hood. And you even see this in the music industry. I mean, look what people do to Drake. People think that Drake is just this sensitive-ass dude because he raps and sings about love and all that nonsense, and people for some reason look at him as, oh, he's acting light skinned, or he's so light skinned, and they associate that with their preference, which in a lot of ways is very rooted in colorism. So if you don't want to date somebody within your own community, I don't care if you're Indian or Asian or if you're black, if you say that you only date one particular shade for one particular reason, that is blatant colorism that you yourself have normalized. And in my point of view, having a shade preference within your own group is blatant colorism. That's just how I feel. For those of y'all who disagree, let me ask you an honest question. Why do you prefer one skin tone over the other? Because I know a lot of black women do say, I prefer darker men. Okay, why? Like, I know that's your preference, but why? And really ask yourself, is it colorism? Do you only prefer darker men? Or do some of y'all only prefer lighter men for a particular reason? I mean, or even a woman, a man or a woman, like whether you're a male or female watching this, like, think about it. Why do you prefer one shade over the other? Like, what is it about shade that makes you want to date a particular person within your own group? Think about it. But anyways, not only is this issue amongst women, but it's also an even bigger issue amongst men, especially weak-minded men of power, especially men who control the media. Men like Chris Brown, Kodak Black, Glock 9, and many more are perfect examples of colorism and perpetuating it in the media, which causes young women of color to feel insecure and self-conscious about their skin color. For example, not too long ago, Chris Brown said in one of his songs that he only messes with the black girls with the good hair. And women from the past have even came forth and said that Chris Brown didn't allow them or their friends in their section because they had dark skin, and he was outed by Tokyo Vanity for this.
Me how all y'all African Americans on here who got black mamas, sisters, aunties, brothers, cousins, and sisters, uncles, nephews, and brothers. Y'all on here like, you know what I'm saying, acting like that shit. Who and bitch, y'all can say what y'all want by me. I don't give a fuck. Y'all ain't got to like me. All y'all on here talking about somebody doing something for clout. Bitch, I don't need no clout from Chris Brown. All I did was when I saw something on the shade room, bitch, I commented and say I don't know why this is shocking to y'all. And all I stated was the receipts that I saw. When he was in the club, he ain't let dark skinned women in his section.
For all the angry uglies that's mad at what I said, post a picture of what you look like. Please. Ooh, y'all ain't sending no pictures in. Ooh. Feel dumb, don't you? Exactly.
Oh, but I'm not done yet. In 2018, a rapper by the name of Glock 9 sat down in an interview with Vlad TV, and he basically said in that interview that he doesn't want a dark baby mama because, according to him, he has a light-skinned mama and he wants light-skinned kids.
That lyric get known, like, that bit pop out. That's what, I don't know. But yeah, ain't gonna lie, I know I'm ugly though.
You think you're ugly?
Little piece. I still get hold. Tripping. I still be on my fly man shit. I already know. But I ain't fuck these hoes. I got a wife.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You wifed up?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know though, man. Are you in? Remember there was the whole Kodak thing about how he prefers light skin girls? Because
I broke up with
he was saying how light skin girls are easier to control, I guess. Something like that. Are you on that?
I ain't gonna lie. What he say? I'm already black. I don't need no black bitch.
Right, that's what he said.
So yeah, I ain't gonna lie. I can't have no cut. Like, I know if I'm fucking with you, I'm black as fuck, right? I'm black as shit.
Yeah, black is beautiful though, man.
So I know if I fuck with a black bitch, we gonna have a black ass baby.
So?
I ain't with that.
Why?
Cause I'm already black as fuck.
So?
I can't. No.
Well, I mean, this is an interesting thing. You know what I mean? Like, so if you have a baby, you don't want your baby to be the same complexion as you?
Mm.
Why?
This a once in a lifetime thing.
What do you mean?
Like, this a dark ass shade. They be hell nah. I can't.
Not too long ago, around 2 years ago, a rapper by the name of Kodak Black did an interview and explained why he only likes light-skinned girls and why he fetishizes light-skinned girls.
Out of jail, you know I'm having fun.
All right, and everybody's buzzing about it on Twitter, so I gotta ask whatever. It's like you like black. You said you like black girls, but you said it's just like.
I answered this question earlier. You know.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I have a need to simplify it again, but I'm gonna simplify it again.
Okay,
you know, I carry myself like I'm an average dude because I don't see myself no better than him, no better than him, you know, or no less than him. So if he could say that he likes skinny women, if he prefers skinny women more than a more chubby or heavyset women, he could say that and nobody won't get mad at him. I just said I don't like women with my complexion. I like light-skinned women. I want you to be lighter than me. I love African-American women, but I just don't like my skin complexion.
And well, I like your skin complexion.
We too gutter. Black people, my complexion, we too gutter. Light-skinned women, they most sensitive, you know?
There's some dark-skinned women out here sensitive.
No, they too tough. They too tough. Light-skinned women, we could break them down more easy, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Yeah.
And let's not forget about Lil Wayne. A decade ago, Lil Wayne came out with a song called Every Girl in the World, and I'm pretty sure every single one of y'all are familiar with this infamous lyric that a lot of y'all are guilty of singing out loud.
The business. I like a long hair, thick red pound.
Do y'all see where I'm going with this? Black men play an even bigger role, especially black men who are in the media and of power, furthering colorism, especially men who are famous, because they're only spreading the narrative of white supremacy and the fact that the only thing that's acceptable is the closest thing to white. I mean, for example, look at music videos. Look at music videos from the early 2000s. Like, most of the girls were like mixed, long hair, European standard of beauty. There's probably like one or two dark-skinned black girls, and they were way in the back. I mean, look at 6ix9ine's music video, how barely any of the girls in his song BB were ethnic looking. Like, most of them were the European standard of beauty. Like, you see all the time. And in reality, a lot of times they know what they're doing. They just know that anything closer to white sells more, and that's just the curse of white supremacy. And you guys ever notice that a lot of incidents, a lot of men of power, like many famous celebrities have white wives, or many celebrities have mixed wives or biracial wives, but there's nothing wrong with that. You know, you're entitled to date whoever the hell you want. But a lot of times I notice that they parade a lot of these, you know, white women or non-black women as prizes. And a lot of times white women do the same thing. I mean, let me just let this person explain it. Let me just let somebody explain it better than I can.
And the hierarchy of desirability is to refer back to this picture from 2016. It was taken after the VMAs. Just take a look and tell me what you see. I see a bunch of black men with varied skin tones with women who are light-skinned black people, mixed race, or Kim Kardashian. All of those women have similar skin tones, and that's not a coincidence. 9 times out of 10, if you see a black man with like even a little bit of clout, his partner is going to be lighter. And I know that saying that means that y'all are going to point out all of the exceptions in the comments, and that's fine, because pointing out the exceptions means that the rule holds true. We can critique the Kardashians for their exploitation of black aesthetics. I know a lot of people feel like they parade their black male partners and their mixed race children around as accessories. I mean, I don't know if I would go that far. But I will say that you cannot critique what the Kardashians do without also critiquing the black men who align themselves with those women in order to get access to the social capital that being seen with the Kardashian or an exotic white woman like the Kardashians affords them. These are black men looking for access. And that propels women like the Kardashians to the top of the hierarchy of desirability. The Kardashian success has created countless wannabes. And it's certainly frustrating to see women who only care about the aesthetics, who have no real interest in pouring into the culture. The Yes Juleses, the Iggy Azaleas, the Miley Cyruses, who just want to profit off of it and get cool points off of it. Yeah, that's frustrating. But those women are legitimized by black men giving them hood passes and allowing them entree into black spaces.
Which then creates an insecurity for a lot of young women of color, thinking that they have to have the European standard of beauty, the bone straight hair, the thin nose, the curvaceous body that most of these botch body Instagram models pay for. And not only that, men also face colorism too, which is why a lot of them promote it and perpetuate it, because people don't realize this, especially a lot of women. They don't realize that men face it too. Like, they definitely face it, because I mean, you ever realize why they have this self-hatred, or why they hate women who look just like them or are as dark as them or darker than them? You ever thought about it? Many black women even date out of their race for this particular reason, because a lot of times when you do see a black woman who's dating out of her race, a lot of the times it's because black men who are in her life, or the black men she grew up around with or went to school with, a lot of them never appreciated her for how she really looked. So that's why she went for a particular looking man, because she knew that that man probably fetishized her or probably would appreciate her more than men that look just like her. Most black women even catch themselves having mixed babies on purpose, just so that those mixed babies don't face the same oppression they face. But anyways, let me elaborate back on why men face colorism. Because a lot of the self-hate that a lot of them have within themselves and the women that look just like them, they have it because they've allowed the media to feed them propaganda and to spoon feed them to thinking that darker women are more aggressive and angry because of countless actresses and countless stereotypes, and then the Shanaes and the Martins and the niggas who wear wigs, which I'm not gonna lie, obviously a lot of it is funny, but a lot of it kind of does send a wrong message. Like, people like Martin and people like Medea and people like fucking Jamie Foxx and the Respucias and the black men who dress up in wigs and build billion-dollar industries and multi-million-dollar fan bases off of it, spread this narrative, and a lot of people, especially black women, never hold them accountable. I mean, open a book, open a back-to-school commercial, open up a back-to-school magazine, open up a watch a music video. Matter of fact, walk in a clothing store, walk into a department store. Y'all know those campaign photo shoots that usually have the models? Notice how 95% of the times you don't see a darker skinned black girl on the campaign photo shoot. It's always a racially ambiguous mixed girl, biracial girl, an Asian girl, a white girl, anything other than a black girl. And honestly, there are thousands of videos of people giving their point of view on it, and some even say lighter people don't face colorism.
A lighter skinned woman, and you can literally get on YouTube because you are the only one who benefits from it. That's what your experience with colorism is, benefiting from colorism. Everyone else is the victim of it. And the reason why you were bullied in school is because it was a pushback. It was a pushback on what was already happening. So when light-skinned women, they do this. I'm going to tell you what light-skinned women love to say. They're like, oh my gosh, people think I don't text back because I'm light-skinned. Oh my gosh, people think I'm always sensitive because I'm light-skinned. People think I won't beat them up because I'm light-skinned. You don't realize why those are privileges.
It causes an argument because there's even more videos of lighter skinned girls explaining how they face colorism.
I honestly think that's not true. I think we don't go through the same issues as a dark-skinned person would, but I think that people think that we don't go through those issues, so they'll force it on us. Like, they'll purposely be like, oh, you're light-skinned, you don't even go through these issues, you're not even black, like, you're just filtered. I feel like in that sense, it's like we're not even black enough or we're not even white enough. And even when what's called, we're discriminated, we're still seen as black. We're still in that category.
Like how many times in my life I've heard, I thought you were stuck up, rude, unintelligent is one I get a lot. I'll remember like my first public speaking engagement literally at Southern. Somebody walked up to me and was like, I didn't know you were smart. Why, like you light bright. I be seeing you out. Like I read books. I love reading. Like these are just perceptions, I guess, that I'm supposed to be in somebody's music video or, trying to be a model, or I think that I'm somebody because I have this color skin, but really like I just kind of want to exist, like I want to exist and love on people all the same. I don't think of anybody, and my insecurities are ridiculous. I just stopped tanning probably like 5 years ago. Like I tanned religiously, like memberships. My mom was just like, you're ridiculous. At one point, Sally Hansen has this spray can, y'all. You can go get it. And it smooths over your legs. It gives you like a little glow. And because I thought I was so pale, I literally used to go in Walgreens and just throw it on the basket. Like I was a cheerleader and a dancer, so my legs were always out, but I thought they were too pale. Like people were, you so white. Like if I walked up to you and told you, you so black, you crunchy black, you'd be like, oh shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Who do you think you're talking to? You know what I'm saying? But yet, you're going to make me feel insecure and walk up to me and tell me that I need a tan. Real polite.
Serious problem. You know what I mean? Like, I know you don't see it as that, but that might be because that might be from a place of privilege. I don't know.
No, because there's many times I was told I only date dark-skinned girls, or that's happened to me.
But
what happened is I look at that as a preference. No, when I start to look at this, you guys, sometimes we have to take off these color glasses. Like sometimes it is a preference. We don't always date white.
But why do you have that
preference? We don't go looking for.
It's not a preference.
Right? That society has said you are more smart, that you are more valuable, and that you're more desirable than me.
Society's always said that I'm a bitch, that I'm conceited, that I'm a whole bunch of negative shit that comes with being light-skinned. So what I'm saying is,
but those privileges cannot be denied.
Right. That's a negative connotation.
But that privilege that you have cannot be denied. And the thing about it is, there's no such thing as blurring the lines when the power scales are so uneven, sweetheart.
Black school, so when I transferred to the black school, it was a total different vibe. It was like none but black people. And so, all the little boys had a crush on me because I came in, I was cute, whatever, for me to be in 8th grade, whatever. I had first started wearing makeup, little makeup. My mom wouldn't let me wear foundation. I was getting a lot of attention from the guys that I went to school with in 8th grade and stuff. And it was causing some of the girls to be a little, jealous because I came in the school new and grabbing the attention from the guys that they had crushes on, or they were dating, or that they were previously dating. And I never dated no guy at the school, so thank God, because if I would have started dating the guys at the school, who knows like what I would have to go through. I got to high school and stuff, I was hearing that people were like, she thinks she cute because she light skinned and blah blah blah. I'm like, what does skin color got to do with anything? Like it could be a light skin, dark skin, caramel, white, Asian girl, they think they cute, and are you gonna say that Asian girl, she thinks she cute because she Asian, or that dark skin girl, she thinks she cute because she dark skin? What does light skin got to do with anything? Like me being light skin is not determining the fact that I think I'm cute. I don't look in the mirror like,
oh, I'm cute because I'm light skinned. Like yes to the skin. Yes, thank God that you got me some light skin so I can be cute. I don't do that.
Asian.
Black and Mexican.
Actually, nah, it's too big to be Blasian. Black and white?
You black and white?
Black and white? Oh, you just light skinned, bro. Why you trying to hype it up like you some exotic foreign ass nigga, bro?
You like a little Oreo. It's so cute. Well, a golden one.
Dog, we pretty much the same skin tone. Just to be clear, you're not adopted, right?
I mean, honestly, I'm probably mixed too.
You just a little bit more yellow. Okay, just making sure. You're legit.
Cause my mama black and my daddy African, so.
Alright, cool. That's awesome, bro. It's awesome. Hey, found it again. See, I'm more like caramel, you know what I'm saying? But see, you like, I don't even know, like cookies and cream or some shit.
So, who black? Your mama or your daddy? Probably your daddy, right?
Dude, not even gonna lie, I thought you were just freaking black the whole time.
are labeled as, oh, you're mixed, or you're a light bright. Like, there's tons of colorism that light-skinned people face. Like, they get told, oh, you're yellow, or you're a banana, or, you know, you're milk, or you're a light bright. Like, oh, you're not black enough, or oh, you're not even the black one. Like, we the only ones here that are black. You're not even black, and that isolates them. So they're isolating people. And a lot of times, I've heard many light-skinned and mixed girls even tell me, I didn't even know what the fuck light skin or being mixed was until I got isolated. And I've seen several videos of them explaining their struggles they go through, and it's like, come on. Like, you can't deny that there isn't a struggle there. Like, you can't deny that they should be like that they should be the most happiest people ever. Like, you can't deny that. Like, they definitely go through it, because at the end of the day, when it comes to mixed people and when it comes to light-skinned black people, they get told, oh, you're not black enough, you ain't black enough, or you're not one of us. So they're too dark for the white kids, and then they're too light for the black kids. Like, a lot of times that causes them to be isolated, which causes them to have self-esteem issues. Because I've met several light-skinned girls who have told me, because I'm light-skinned, I've always wanted to be darker. Like, they want to be darker because if they're darker, then the community that they look a little bit closer to or identify with or was raised around will accept them. So a lot of times they wish they were darker, because obviously they can't be lighter. I mean, white people know the difference between biracial, mixed, and black. Like, some people act like they don't, but white people know the difference. Like, if a light-skinned person walks into a store, they're not going to face as much racism as a dark-skinned black person. If a light-skinned person walks into a store, they're not going to face as much backlash. They could face racism, but they're not going to face the same oppression or the same stank look. Like, so there is a privilege you can't deny, and I don't think it's right for them to deny that they don't have privilege, because they definitely do. And at one point I thought, man, light skin privilege ain't a thing. And then people quickly educated me and explained to me how it was. And I took the time to do the research, and after I did the research, I was like, holy shit, you know what? Y'all right. And in that video where I said light skin privilege isn't a thing, I immediately deleted that shit. And I was like, okay, you know what? You're right. Like, that makes perfect sense. Like, I had to, like, educate myself, take it all in. And for those of y'all who are still confused about light skin versus dark skin and the privileges, I recommend y'all watch this Spike Lee movie called School Days. And it basically breaks down colorism. It's an old 80s movie back in the day. Tisha Campbell is in it. You could literally rent it on YouTube for 36 hours for $2.99. Like, definitely watch that movie. And not only that, I've also heard several horror stories about young mixed girls telling me, oh, well, when I was younger, the dark-skinned girls picked on me or they bullied me. And I've even heard story times. And there was a lot of young light-skinned or even mixed girls who got told that, oh, your hair is too this or your hair is too that. Why is your hair too long? Like, they get picked on because they feel like they got this low-key jealousy towards them. And sometimes that kind of is the case, because a lot of times young black girls aren't being taught their self-worth, because you got their mothers who are probably skin bleaching, and then you got their own fathers who probably aren't even around to teach them their self-worth. And then a lot of them think that they have to have their hair bone straight, and then they're burning their hair, flat ironing their natural hair, perming it, and it's all burning out and falling out to the point where they then start to hate their own natural hair that grows out of their own scalp, because they constantly see the light-skinned girls getting stares, and the light-skinned girls getting uplifted, and light-skinned girls getting credit for all the things that they can do just as well. And then that fucks with young girls who probably don't even know their self-worth, because we have too many parents out here who are literally not even educating young black girls about the beauty of their skin, or young light-skinned girls about their privilege and the beauty of their skin. So then that causes light-skinned girls to hate themselves and want to have shorter hair, want to look more like the black girls, or want to look more like the white girls. Then that just causes like a whole bunch of debacle, and then you got white people on the sideline just laughing at us like, ha ha ha. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't ever see white people saying, Team pale, team sun bleached, team beige, team loose leaf paper skin, team eggshell, team aged like milk, team aged like a banana. Like, you don't ever see white people doing that shit. Like, it's only people of color, and that's that white supremacy that a lot of them created. They let us fight with each other. That was really the point of creating racism and colorism. Like, they want people to fight with each other, and that's what annoys me, when people give into it and allow it to dictate everything. Okay? So that's why I don't think it's okay for black women to say, oh, I only date brown skinned men or dark skinned men because of this, or I only, like, because of what? Like, or when men say, oh, I only want to date light skinned girls because of this, or I want to date dark skinned girls because of this, because it's just like, really? Like, it's different if you say that you'd rather date an Asian girl because you're very into the Korean culture, or you're very into Korea. You want to have a Korean culture, or you want to date an Indian girl because you're into the Indian culture. You're interested in what they have and what they bring, and you know, or it's all about who makes me happy. Like, that's different. But for someone to say, oh, I'm black, but I wouldn't want to date someone that's darker than me or someone that's lighter than me. And not only that, we also have to educate young mixed girls and even light-skinned black girls about privileges, because a lot of people have the assumption that, oh, if you're light-skinned, there's no such thing as being a light-skinned black girl. Like, people assume that there's no such thing as a light-skinned black girl. And every time I hear this, I'm just like, really? Like, people keep forgetting that black people are the most versatile, and they have the Eve gene, blonde hair, dirty blonde hair, or black people can come out with blue eyes, green eyes, gray eyes, green eyes, and everybody just assumes that it's contact. But people aren't educated about the culture of black people, because you guys know, when we're in school, the only thing they teach us about black people is the fact that we were fucking slaves. That's the only thing they teach us. You ever notice how when you open a textbook, the first thing that's in the history book is, so slavery started 1800. Like, that's the first thing they teach us. They don't teach us about the fact that black people were kings and queens. They created modern medicines, or people of color created this and they created that. And they're not even teaching young Latinos or Latinas that some of them are literally descendants of Africans. And they're not even, like, Latinos and Latinas aren't even being taught that a lot of them are only here because of the colonization and the slavery from Africa. Like, they're not even teaching people these things. They go into depth about fucking stupid ass Christopher Columbus. He was born in so and so, and his parents were so and so, and Christopher Columbus was so and so and so and so, and Abraham Lincoln had 4 or 5 kids, and his favorite chicken was fucking Colonel Fried Chicken, unseasoned adobo chicken. Like, that's they know everything about everything, but they don't teach us the history about black people, the kings and queens. A lot of us who, like, created jewelries and stuff like that, or the fact that black people invented majority of the shit that you fucking see, but in reality, because of Jim Crow laws, black people couldn't patent or copyright their shit. But that's another video to hold the conversation that a lot of people aren't ready for. But anyways, as much as it's a hard pill to swallow, we have to teach young light-skinned girls and mixed girls that they're good enough. And we have to also teach them that there is privilege, and we also have to teach them that when it comes to the hate and backlash they get, it's not always jealousy. Like, it's not always, they're just mad because you look better than them. Like, that's not always the fucking case. We have to educate young black girls about this kind of stuff, because it does happen. Like, I've seen it from my own eyes. Like, I've literally seen a black girl tell a light-skinned girl, to be honest, I didn't like you at first because I thought you was all that. That happens too often because of the self-hate, and then that causes the light-skinned girl to think that she's doing too much or she has to be darker, and this just causes insecurity on both sides. Now, light-skinned girls are over-fetishized and over-sexualized and forced in people's faces, and everybody for some reason is just obsessed with mixed babies with light skin and bright eyes and curly hair. Like, everybody just has this obsession with mixed babies, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I've heard people say, oh, you know, I want to have a baby with a mixed guy because I want beautiful kids. And it's just like, really? So 2 dark-skinned black parents can't make beautiful kids? And then sometimes there's even instances where non-black women get with black men, and then they start to perm their daughter's hair because they don't know what to do with it, and then their daughter starts to get jealous of them because their mom is mixed or their mom is light-skinned, so they want to look like their mom. And a lot of times they see kids in their environment who are lighter or white, and they want to look like them because you got white mothers not being educated on the struggles of black people or black girls or identity because they're uplifted. Like, it happens way too fucking often, and it's just annoying. And a lot of times whenever I see biracial girls or mixed girls who have a white mother, a lot of times I just assume that whenever they say ignorant shit, that it has a lot to do with the fact that their mother probably doesn't understand because she's too busy being uplifted in society. Because that happens a lot. Like, we have too many parents telling young light-skinned or mixed girls, oh, you know, people just jealous of you, or they just jealous of you because you look better than them. And it's just like, why don't we tell them and educate them why? Like, I guarantee you we'll have a different result if we tell and sit down and tell our young mixed girls or young light-skinned girls that we know are in our family, they're only jealous of you because of that slavery mentality. People tear them down because they're dark-skinned, and that's why they have resentment towards you. They don't hate you. They really hate the fact that you're uplifted for a lot of things that they can do just as good as you. They're not secure with themselves, so they feel some type of way about the way you look. And if you educate a light-skinned or mixed girl about that thing at a young age, she'll then have empathy and understand where that animosity is coming from. She's not just going to assume, oh, I'm better than, or oh, I'm black girls, or they're always just like that. That's how light-skinned girls and mixed girls develop resentment for black girls. They assume that young black girls or non-black girls are just going to assume that they're just going to think that everyone's jealous of them, and that's just not the way to live. Like, that just continues a cycle of colorism and racism. It's even crazier because a lot of this stems from the fact that when slaves were taken from Africa and thrown all over the world, and most places in the Caribbean, all places in the Caribbean were colonized by white people for many decades and centuries, and then that caused all the white people, like the white people were basically communicating and telling the Africans, oh, you guys aren't good enough. Like, they plotted and said, you guys aren't good enough, you guys aren't good enough, your hair is too much, why does it look like that, or you're not good enough. And then even black people were forced to shave off their heads and their identities, or were forced to wear baggy clothes, and then when those black people had children, they were forced to brainwash those children, and those children had 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 children, and now we're in present day, and we were all taught by a lot of our parents that lighter skin is better, or we can't be too dark. And that's not the case for most parents. Most parents are woke and understand that they need to educate their kids about this stuff, but other parents don't know how to fucking do that shit. A lot of parents literally just try to ignore it and don't even bring it up. Like, a lot of parents don't want to bring controversy into the home, and then boom, that child has to discover what being light-skinned versus dark-skinned is. Then they have to discover their privileges. Then they have to discover that they're not good enough. Like, they have to discover all these things in the outside world because parents are being so fucking stupid and aren't educating kids about these issues, which is so annoying. Because if you're a parent and you have a child, please educate your child about their ethnicity, their identity, and all this stuff. Like, educate them about their privileges, their disadvantages, and the things that they're gonna go through, because you know the struggle. You just don't want to indulge in them. And it's different if you're a white parent, but if you're a white parent and you have a black or mixed significant other or husband or baby daddy, please have them educate the young children. Like, we can't have any more ignorant people of color in this world, because they're only going to continue the cycle, and then they're going to put that nonsense and share it with other kids who are impressionable, then share it with their kids. Educate these kids. That's all that matters, and that's all we need to do. And that's why black people are still mentally enslaved, because of the fact that people are stripped away from their identity and their culture. Like, people are stripped away from their identity and culture because people aren't educating and sharing information, which is what I'm doing right now, and I hope people take this video in and take my advice. I've gotten several emails and messages of many women saying, hey, Troyce, I watch your videos, but like, damn, like, my daughter recently told me that she wishes she was lighter, she wishes she was this. I always tell her she's pretty. I don't know what happened. But that's because you're not instilling in her worth. A lot of times parents need to instill into their child their worth. Like, if you constantly tell the child, oh, you're ugly, or you're annoying, or you're this, or you don't ever like compliment or boost your child up and tell them the beauty of their identity, then they're just gonna assume, okay, then I'm probably just only good for being pretty, or I'm probably only good for doing this or doing that, or I'm probably only pretty when I have my hair straightened or when I have my hair done. Like, you have to like teach children to embrace their natural features, whether it's their skin, their larger nose, their big forehead, like whatever it is. Like, you have to teach kids to literally embrace it. And honestly, it starts, in my personal opinion, with the child's surroundings. I've seen way too many of some of y'all parents out here buying your children white Barbie dolls with blonde hair. It doesn't matter if you're Asian or Indian, whatever you are. If you're a person of color, stop with this European standard of beauty toys, because that's literally poison. Like, stop. They literally make black Barbie dolls on Amazon. You can go on Amazon and find black Barbie dolls. You can find Indian toys, indigenous toys on the internet. You can find toys that cater to Asians. You can find toys that cater to biracial girls. You can find TV shows, documentaries, cartoons that cater to black people. They just don't get that much shine, but you'll find some on YouTube. Or, like, show them TV shows that with kids that look just like them. Show them, put up posters in their room of kids that look just like them. Don't fucking put up posters of fucking Hannah Montana or fucking Billie Eilish in their room. Like, put up posters of people that look just like them, that you want them to be as confident as or look like. Like, we gotta stop giving young black girls white baby dolls. Like, we have to stop giving young black girls dolls with straight hair, because they definitely sell dolls with kinky textured 4C hair, 3A type hair, 3C type hair. Like, we have to stop this. Like, representation matters, and self-esteem starts at the home. And if your child leaves the house, or if you're a victim of having bad self-esteem or getting put down and not knowing your worth, a lot of times it's your parents' fault. It's the parents' fault, because parents aren't teaching kids shit. They're just throwing them out into the world and say, oh, well, enjoy school or enjoy, when there's a lot of self-hate and evil kids out there who are going to get in their mind. If you teach your kid their worth, or you teach kids, or whether you have future kids or not, or adopt, or whatever you have, or cousins or nieces or nephews or siblings, whatever you have, teach these young children to embrace their identity and how their identity is beautiful the way it is, before some dirty ass kid walks up to them and tells them that they're not good enough, or that they're too light, or that they're too dark, or they're too this or too that. Like, tell them now. Like, you have to, or else you're going to continue the cycle, and you're probably just as bad as white supremacy. But that's just how I feel, and this video needed to be made. Take your kids to HBCUs. Encourage your kids to go to HBCUs if you're black, or if you have black children or want to have black children. Encourage your kids to to have natural hair dolls, or encourage your kid to do fun things with their natural hair, or do things like, if you're of whatever background you are, especially if you're black, literally put up artifacts. If you know that you don't get enough representation in the media, whether you're mixed or multiracial, put posters, put like artifacts, statues, because a lot of people have told me that this has worked for them. It might not work for all people, but it's worked for a lot of people, where if you put up statues and decor that's very African based, or black people based, or whatever your background is, people will get knowledge of what their culture is. People will literally identify beauty with whatever you force in front of them. So when you got all these whitewashed cartoons and all these whitewashed toys, kids are going to assume that they need a thinner nose, bone straight hair, and show them that there's more than just the European standard of beauty. Because people think having a big nose is ugly. People think having a gap in your mouth is ugly. People think having a big forehead is ugly. When a lot of these things are features that you inherited from your ancestors, and people associate beauty with the Eurocentric things of beauty. Like, no. The only reason people say the European standard styles of beauty with the thin nose and the bone straight hair, and the only reason people think that that is beautiful is because we're being force-fed it. It's not your fault. It's the television that's forcing us to think this way. You know how many times I get annoyed when I walk into a fucking Ross, because I get my clothes at Walmart and Ross, I'm cheap, and I see campaign photo shoots with that one token black girl or no black people at all. So yeah, that really helps the child's self-esteem, or it can make the child's self-esteem. It can make or break a child's self-esteem when they don't see people that look like them. And then eventually when these kids get older, they then start to resent people who look different from them, and that's kind of what I like to call racism. I find it even more hilarious whenever I see, I'm hungry. Now I see white people wanting to wear mini buns and boxer braids. They want to wear twisty knots and Bo Derek braids. They want the big booty and curves. They want the big fat lips. They want all that. They want the rhythm, but they don't want the blues of black people. Isn't it interesting how they do spray tans and they do everything they can to look more ethnic and racially ambiguous? Isn't that a sign? Pay attention to these things. The only reason white people made black people and people of color hate themselves for being too dark or too having your hair looking like this is because they were really secretly jealous of people of color. They were jealous of indigenous, black, or they were jealous of people of color. That's why. So notice how now they're trying to wear the grills, they want to do the break dancing, they want to do DJing, all things that were popularized and created by black people. They want the salsa dancing. They want to make Bollywood music, things that are popularized by Indian people. They want to do everything that people of color do. They want the afros. They want the tan skin. They want the lip injections, the butt shots. They want the snatched up weight. They want all these things because they want to look like people of color. Think about it. They're secretly jealous, and they've always been jealous. No offense if the shoe fits, wear it, but some have always been jealous, and that's why they made us hate ourselves. And they made us teach it to the generation. And that's why you barely see any black woman out there with natural hair on the news. I mean, how do you think most of this shit started? I mean, Tupac said it the best. We ain't built to survive because it's a setup. They made black people cut off their heads. They made them strip away their culture. They made them forget everything. They brainwashed them thinking that they weren't good enough. And they even created low-key things like the judicial system, the court system. And they even created a whole bunch of bullshit like hair discrimination. Like hair discrimination. Notice how hair discrimination, like women getting discriminated against and getting told they have to straighten their hair. Getting told they have to cut their locks. Getting pulled over because they have dreadlocks. People clutching their purses because they have dreadlocks and afros. Well, not let me stop calling them dread. I don't like that word dreadlocks. Let's call them locks because there's nothing dreadful about locks. Isn't it funny how hair discrimination? It's only illegal in 5 states. Los Angeles just recently passed it. Isn't it interesting how out of 50 states that America has, Los Angeles is the only state that passed that law along with 4 other states. Isn't it crazy? And people love to say, I don't see color. Really? Slavery is technically over. Like, you guys need to let it go and get over it. Nope. The system was never built for people of color. It wasn't built. Why do you think people still haven't gotten reparations? Because if it don't benefit the other side, it's just like, why we gotta waste our time? They ain't gonna benefit us. But anyways, this is a controversial video. I'm sure the comment sections are controversial as fuck, because that's how we do it over here. People should give this video a thumbs up, because you already know YouTube probably demonetize this shit. And click the link for Car Marshal, because I get paid per click, and it'll probably save my motherfucking ass if y'all click it. Troy, stop this bitch. Pretty hearts shine the light on everything. Oh, it's something that you can't fake, but you can play. It's the soul that needs the surgery. Pretty hearts shine the light on everything. Infection of the nation. Pretty hearts.